So this week we have Oak and Eden, and we're doing their bourbon and brew. So Oak and Eden bourbon and brew. I found them from the San Francisco World Spirit Competition double gold winner list, and turns out they're a fairly new one. Shu tried to go off and get this bourbon, couldn't find it. Um, and I didn't know much about them, but turns out they are a Texas brewery, or sorry, distillery. Well, not really a distillery. So a little bit about them. They are up here northwest of Fort Worth in Bridgeport, Texas. They're not really gimmick, but their like whole way of operating is that every bottle has a wood spire. So I don't know if you can really see it in this one, but we've got a wood spire here in the bottle. That's going to give it a nice oaky flavor that actually it's almost as if it was still in barrel. So as the bottle gets older, it's going to age. So as opposed to pulling a bourbon out of the barrel and just having it sit in glass, these bourbons will age in bottle. We are doing the bourbon and brew. So this, again, San Francisco World Spirit Competition double gold winner. It is infused with coffee. They take the wood spire, infuse it with coffee before they put it into the bottle. So it really looks like a pretty young brewery or distillery here, because here's what Google Street View has to say about that. Clearly just a year or so ago, it was an empty storefront. And so it looks like they've been able to fix that up and put together a nice little distillery. I keep making the mention difference between them and others. So they buy their spirits from MGP. MGP is a large distillery. They wholesale produce spirits, and then they sell those to a wide number of brands that then do interesting things with them, age them, mix them with coffee, as in this case. So it's a relatively young spirit. It's a 2-year-old spirit. We don't know the mash bill. We release date is fairly recent as well, so they've probably been around for a year or so. MSRP is pretty high. MSRP is at 55. So friends over at Breaking Bourbon, they didn't give it a terribly glowing review because once you get into that $55 price range, you're really going to get some stiff competition from Blanton's and from, you could buy 2 bottles of Michter's. You're going to get, some really good bourbons up in there. So what I like about this, take the MSRP away. My main thought was, is this a good bourbon? Do I enjoy it? And the answer is yeah, I really do. It's got a rich flavor. I don't know if the coffee is a bit of a gimmick, but it definitely has more of a darker toffee sweet. Some of the darker notes that you would typically get, brown sugar, molasses, from some bourbons that are typically aged a bit longer. So I'm enjoying this. It's a nice sipping bourbon. The thing that makes it special is probably that oakiness and that coffee. So I would say if you're looking for something interesting, if you've ever wanted to see infusions, I think that's really Oak and Eden's whole thing. They do infusions with coffee or with wine. I'd say give it a go. Maybe for a special occasion. I got this as a gift. That's also a great way to do it. If you don't have to pay for it, it's a very good bourbon. So I would recommend it, but at 55, you know, I would recommend it if you're really looking for something different versus, you know, some of the high quality bourbons you can get at 55. And that's our bourbon break.